Ready?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Hey everyone.
Hey.
Wayne Fox, my buddy Randy Collier. We're here in Death Valley, California. We thought we'd do just a quick video, talk about Death Valley. It's kind of a weird place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of nothing, and then there's this little oasis right here.
Yeah. This is I figured out this is my 9th trip here, or 8th or 9th, and you're 6 or 7.
6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that we want to come to such a weird place like this. If you've seen any Star Wars movies, you've seen Death Valley, because about 40% of them are shot in Death Valley. But we've come here quite a few times, chasing a few things. Nice, really a lot of oxygen here.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for sleeping.
Yeah, sleep well. So we thought we'd talk about keep trying Wi-Fi. My phone's freaking out here. I know why. I got to quit this app. Hang on. And quit that app there. There we go. So why do you like coming here?
It's nice in the winter.
Yeah, it's warm.
I like the weather.
Yeah, it's about...
it's got to be, what, 73, 74?
Yeah, or warmer.
Oh, it says 81.
81 in the early March. It's about 30 degrees at home in Utah, where we're from. And we usually come in January. This year we're a little late. I think we're going to try it again in November. And we'll talk about why in a few minutes here.
Yeah, it's usually tied to that frame show we go to.
Frame show. This was WPPI, which we stopped at. But actually, I'm chasing the salt. And the summer heat maybe will make it better. We'll talk about that in just a minute. What's your favorite place to shoot here?
I don't know. I think the dunes are fun.
The dunes?
I like the dunes, but I like the Badwater. Badwater's nice. I like. I don't know. We're gonna try Artist Palette tonight.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
Well, let's talk first. Let's just mention where you can stay if you come to Death Valley. There's basically 4 choices actually. We personally like to stay at the ranches. We'll do a panel of these units here. Open up in this big, huge grass courtyard. They've got rocking chairs on the back porch. A little old, but they're still kept up nice.
Yeah,
and,
it's comfortable.
And they're building some really nice cabins. So in a year or two, it's a nice atmosphere here at the ranches. So that's one choice.
Then the inn, where we're at this year.
Yeah, because I couldn't get a room here.
Yeah. It's really nice, beautiful swimming pool.
Yeah, the inn's a little higher end. It's more of a higher end resort, more money. It's about probably 40% more usually, but it's really nice.
Really nice.
Great swimming pool. It's a great place to hang out. And then you can also stay over at Stovepipe Wells, which is not like this. I mean, here you're in an oasis. You've got green trees and palm trees and grass, and over there it's pretty well just desert. But I think it's a little less expensive, but it's still not. None of them are cheap, unfortunately.
It's a little more out of the way.
Yeah, because if you're shooting the dunes, it's right by the dunes, and if you want to go to that little waterfall, I can't remember the name of that waterfall.
No, up over the hill.
But it's not like a must-do if you come to Death Valley.
Yeah.
And then of course you can always bring your RV and you stay in. There's lots of places that basically, it's almost like boondocking. There's only a few spots that have hookups. Over by Stovepipe Wells, but there's lots of places to park them. So as long as you can boondock, that's a pretty good option. I might try that someday.
Yeah, there's a couple of parks right here and one out.
One over by and then there's that one clear over by that Panamint Springs, or is that what that was called?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, but that one looked like
is that on the way we do that one little restaurant?
Yeah, that's where that little restaurant is. We didn't do it this year.
That's fun. I like that.
Well, let's just talk about the places to shoot. First is Badwater. Badwater is the lowest point in the United States, like 287 feet. Was that what it said?
Something like that.
I know my walk this morning.
You'll have to fact check that probably.
Well, my walk this morning said I walked from 285 feet to 247 feet below sea level.
Oh.
So at one point I was 285 feet below sea level. But Badwater is pretty cool. It's a big salt flat. And it changes dramatically. I've come here 9 times. I still don't have an epic shot of it because I've never caught the salt what I think would be perfect. But I've got some good shots of it. I got actually a good one this morning. I like the one I got this morning.
Yeah, I like one I got last night or this morning. This morning one.
Yeah. Doing a panel stitch because my 28 isn't wide enough to cover it. So my goal, I'm only going to be using probably that much of it in a long skinny panel. I actually got a really good one last year, but I didn't realize it till the new Lightroom now supports my IQ4 150. So I actually got it in there and realized there was better color in the sunrise than I thought. The problem with the Capture One software is I can't do a panel stitch in the software.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So what I have to do is export TIFF files and then stitch them in Lightroom or Photoshop. And of course, I'm not very good at Capture One, so I really didn't pull the color out like I should have. But anyway, the cool part about the salt is it's white, and then it gets these little ridges.
Yeah.
And the ridges can be everywhere from none at all, which was what it was like
even going the opposite way.
Yeah, 2013, they were actually depressions.
Yeah.
And then as you get around it, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and some of them were like, what was it, about a foot high?
Yeah, some of them were like hiking over.
Yeah, you don't want to go out there without your headlamp on in the morning. So Badwater's pretty cool. We're going to shoot what's called Artist Palette tonight. It's really cool because it has so many colors of the rocks, everything from maroons and greens.
Does that come from the copper and
all the minerals? Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's more of a place, I think, where you do little studies. So Badwater, you can shoot sunrise, sunset, either one. It doesn't really matter. I don't think. It's whichever gives you the best color.
It's usually one of those grand shots that you like
it's usually
to do.
a grand shot, but you can do some small studies of the stuff too. But great color, if you get great color in the sunset, and sometimes there's those deeper spots filled with water. I've seen shots of that. I've never been fortunate enough to get the water in them.
We should bring a 5-gallon jug of water.
Yeah, fill one of them up. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, oh, good. Artist Palette, I think, is definitely an evening shoot because I think in the morning there's no light getting into it.
Yep.
In the evening, the light's going to shoot into the canyon from the west.
Yep.
That's about, and most of these are within 15-minute drive of the furnace of the inn or the ranches.
Yep.
Golden Canyon's another one. Golden Canyon is I've only shot there once. There's not a lot of color in it. It is really gold rock, but it's kind of the Zabriskie Point, which we'll talk about in a second, comes out at Golden Canyon, and I'd just rather go to Zabriskie's.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And and as you come up that way, then there's the Devil's Golf Course.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. I didn't put that on the list. Yeah, Devil's Golf Course. That's a really weird place.
Weird.
And that again is evening, probably evening or afternoon. Sunrise, sunset, either one would work.
Yep.
The only challenge with Devil's Golf Course is it's really kind of ugly color.
It's very. That's putting it lightly.
Yeah.
It's very.
And so a great sky. I mean, that's a good spot to go if you're not going to have a good sky.
Yep.
Because it's better as a black and white.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or a tone.
Yeah, definitely.
I got a really pretty cool shot of that as a black and white. So it's
just
pretty
that
good.
ugly brown.
Yeah, ugly brown dirt. Uglier than dirt.
It's
like my shirt. It's older than dirt.
It's like, you can't even describe it.
No.
It's like
big old humps and mounds that are like
stools and.
I don't even know how something like that formed because most of the places you get they're kind of sharp like this, and they're more like humps.
Yeah, you can't really walk through it very well.
And I know a lot of people, they'll shoot Badwater and then they'll just hit one or the other. Badwater, it's about a mile and a half walk to get out to the good part.
Yeah. This year it was to go further,
and that changes dramatically. I mean. I think last year it seemed like it was closer, so I don't know.
Yeah, quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, so
I think it was quite a bit closer.
Then you mentioned the dunes.
Yep.
Mesquite dunes are the main ones.
Yep. So there's too many people here now.
Well, and the footprints.
Yeah, well, it's
really tracked up.
That's what causes the footprints is people.
I think we've only been able to shoot the dunes once.
Yeah,
where it was a little windy.
It was a windy morning.
And it was almost too windy to shoot. It's probably not good on your camera.
Not a good idea to change lenses.
Yeah, don't change lenses. Make sure you probably want a nice zoom on there so you can change focal lengths. I think that's probably a sunrise. You're better off sunrise at Mesquite Dunes. Yeah. I've shot sunset there a couple times.
Yeah.
And
that one year we shot it, there was a storm off on the horizon.
Yeah.
So you could see the water. It was great for that one.
Yeah, obviously, anytime you get a little stormy weather, it's a good time to shoot here.
That's a bonus here.
Because although we've been here once, it was too stormy and we couldn't do anything. Yeah. It was actually raining too hard.
A little unexpected.
We slept in that day. To the north of us here, we're at the ranches right now. This is the ranches swimming pool behind us. To the north of us a little way, there's an unusual spot where the water kind of comes up out of the ground and then causes little, what do you call it, rivulets? Is that what those would be called? I guess little streamlets. And if you get if you get a really good sky, that's a cool place to shoot because you can get the reflections in the water. We've tried it 3 times and never got a good sky. I got one shot okay once. Of course, the one year that we had a decent sky, I couldn't hardly move.
I think I bombed in that spot every time.
Well, I think that spot we saw today, the water was wider.
For more sunset.
Yeah, I think probably you'd be better off as a sunset there if you find the right spot. Worth exploring. Make sure you wear some pretty good boots though, because you're going to get pretty muddy in that. Surprisingly enough, Death Valley Desert, you're going to get muddy doing that one. If you're really adventurous, you can head up to Ubi Ibi Crater. I'm pretty sure that's how I looked up the pronunciation before we came.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Oh yeah, that's on the way to the racetrack.
Is that on the way to there? Did we stop in?
Yeah, with Scott that year.
Yeah. Okay, I remember.
Yeah, it's actually a volcano crater that's left over from the activity. Pretty interesting. I've never tried to shoot it because every time I've gone there, I've been on my way to the racetrack.
Yeah.
So
it's usually middle of the day.
Yeah, middle of the day when you're there.
Because it takes. How long does it take to get to the racetrack?
Oh, it's
2 hours, 3 hours?
I think it's probably 3 hours altogether.
It's only probably
40
miles.
40 miles maybe.
It's not very far. But it's
20 miles of it on a dirt road. That's pretty washboarded.
Less than 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. And the racetrack is awesome. It's where you get the rocks that slide along and create the paths. Problem with the racetrack is you really have to spend the night if you want a great shot, which we've never done.
Nope.
There's a kind of basically a place you can pull in and set up a little tent. You don't want to drive your RV there; it'll never make it.
No.
In fact, you don't even want to.
You'd probably ought to rent a car or bring a Jeep.
We've taken a Rubicon, and I used to be able to rent Jeeps here. I don't know if you still can or not. Probably can, but you don't want to take a passenger car there either.
No.
You'll get a flat for sure.
Yep.
And we found that you have to actually find the right speed to stay on top of the bumps.
Like skipping over the top of every other.
Yeah, well, that was the Mythbusters thing, right? If you get the right speed.
That's right.
And we found if you go the right speed, you can go a little faster. But the Jeep's rocking pretty good when you do that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those places I am going to do a spend the night, go out, shoot a sunset, spend the night, shoot a sunrise because it's really otherworldly. It's really cool.
It's a cool place.
Yeah, the cracks in the mud.
It's got the little tiny crack.
Yeah, they're
size 2 inches around, all the little cracks.
And they're really consistent too. So they're really cool pattern to them.
Yeah.
So
it's baked in.
Definitely, that's probably if you were to name your top 3 spots, that's going to be one of the top 3. I mean, if you can make that trip, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Although I hear that people have been moving the rocks and messing it up, and so there's actually
if you said top 3, like Badwater,
the
dunes, and the racetrack.
Maybe I personally I'd put Zabriskie might.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about that.
I really like the problem with the dunes is it's such a hit and miss.
The Manly Beacon.
The Manly Beacon, at the Zabriskie. It's actually really an interesting formation. We shoot it every single time we come. Usually a sunrise. It's better as a sunrise unless you get good color. I've got some good shots there. I've never got what I feel is an epic shot.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure why.
It's very cool. I love
because the good shots you don't even show the sky. Maybe that's why. So they really
one year we did have a really cool sky.
Epic sunset, but the light on the Manly Beacon was really bad, really flat. Yeah. Still, it was a cool shot. So, and then the last one we can mention is Dante's View.
Oh, yeah.
And the cool thing about Dante's View is you're up at about 2,000 feet above sea level. And you're at the south end of the park, and you can see the whole park. And I guess that's where the name comes from. They say Dante's. I looked this up. The 9 circles of hell, the 7 terraces of purgatory, and the 9 spheres of paradise. And that's in a book that he wrote, Dante Ale. I can't even pronounce that word.
I mean, it's got the Devil's Golf Course.
Devil's Golf Course. Well, you don't forget the Devil's Cornfield.
The Devil's Cornfield. Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's. The record high here is 137 degrees, the record high, which I think you'd probably last about 10 minutes if you stayed out in it too long.
I think the rocks get too hot to touch.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, probably October to April time frame is when you want to come. Yeah. And the last thing, something we've never shot here is the blooms. We tried once. And every once in a while they get what they call a
Super
super
bloom.
bloom, and there are flowers everywhere. My room, they've got a really cool shot of, I mean, it's huge, just a field of flowers with one of these mountains in the background. I didn't realize the
You
super
would
bloom
never
was
know
that
it.
super.
You would
Yeah,
never know
never
it.
know
Driving
it.
out
So
there,
anyway,
it's like a giant gravel pit.
yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, that's probably enough. Kind of sums it up, I guess.
Yeah.
If you have any questions about where we've been, as I've done the video, I put shots in here that we've taken over the years. If you're thinking of coming here and have any questions, just hit me with a comment down below. And till next time, see ya.
See you later.